Okay, we just started the recording. Welcome everybody to the training. So I've already got a handful of questions. I'm going to start addressing those, but as we have this session, because it's a general Volusion FAQ, web design FAQ type webinar today, please go ahead and put in your questions while we talk. Peter, let's start with you. You had one. You said, so when we get the products populated in the format stored on the Volusion server, we then do some upload command to get it active. When we get the products populated in the formats, I'm not sure I understand your question, to be honest. They're active. Well, so if you're saying how does everything become live and active, it already is. As you're working on your site, it's on the internet. It just hasn't been marketed. So as you're uploading pictures, they should be displayed. Like all of your products and all the changes you're making will be displayed live on your site. It's just a question of, are people finding these items? And they're not yet, unless you've done some actual marketing, some work in the search engines. You might want to clarify that if I didn't answer that very well, Peter. This is an interesting question. Oliver says, is there any set of circumstances in which WordPress is superior to Volusion? There is. It all just depends on what you're trying to accomplish with your website. If you're trying to do link posting or create an informational website or some kind of a corporate website that's not necessarily selling a product, then WordPress is your best option. If your primary purpose of your business is to create a product that has the ability to be purchased right on the website, Volusion is your best option because they've got a really good shopping cart. So that's how I decide. Is it an informational site or is it an e-commerce, I want to sell you something site where you put it in your shopping basket and you check out? If the latter is true, then Volusion is what you want because it's just better. If the former is true, WordPress is going to be your best option. Good question. That's an interesting question, Cindy. Okay, so Cindy says, I created a Pinterest business account and I'm supposed to confirm my website address by placing a piece of code in the header. I couldn't figure out how to do it. Also, you're wanting to add the Pinterest logo to your website. Okay, so let me take on the first question first. If you want to add code into your website, you always do it here. You go design and then you go file editor. Okay? Design and file editor. And then from here, Cindy, it's likely you'll click on template over here. Yours may not say this, but you'll have a template file. You'll want to click on this one right here, which I will do. And then here, you're going to notice a couple of things. Let me zoom in so you can see this just a little bit better. Here's the opening header tag right here. That basically means any code below that belongs in the header, okay? Which means if you posted that verification code from Pinterest, I would probably copy and paste it in this area right here, like right where this box is. So right next to the head tag right here, I would paste it into that box right there. As long as it's pasted in somewhere within the header, it should be fine. Like you'll notice if I scroll down just a little bit, there's the ending head tag right there. Do you see that, Cindy, right here? So anything above, posted anywhere above that would be fine too if you copy and paste it. Save it. Make sure you hit the save button right there, and that actually should do it. That should verify it pretty easily. To the second part of your question, how can I add a Pinterest logo onto my site? So you'd probably do it in the same area. Most of the time when you're adding social media logos to a website, you want them either at the top of the site or down here at the bottom of the site somewhere. Now, a lot of templates come with a Pinterest logo already on it. So check, this one does. This has a Pinterest logo right there. But if it doesn't, because we won't have time to show you all the steps, can I just show you the webinar where you can find it? If you go to YouTube, type in my name. I think it is like, actually go to my channel page. I'm trying to remember where I put this video. I think it might be under the playlist section and then marketing. It's under marketing and it's video number 35. Right here. How to install social media icons to your Volusion website. I would answer that right now, Cindy, but it would probably take up our entire session. So I'm going to direct you there because that actually answers that question well. Paul says, why is it when you print a page, the header in Volusion, the header is Volusion and not my website header name? Do you mean like actually print it, like in your physical printer? So you're saying, Paul, I'm printing the page, like I'm creating a copy of it on a piece of paper through my printer, right? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, what I would do is I would make sure you're not logged into your account. I think in most cases, if you're not logged into your account, like I am right now, because right now, of course, when I'm logged in, you're seeing this information here, right? I'm pretty sure if you're not logged in, it'll work. Although I haven't ever really printed my website onto a piece of paper or even a page of it, but that would be my assumption. Volusion wouldn't show up if that were the case. So just log out, look at your site as if you were a normal customer and print it from there, and I would imagine that should fix it. Jody, you asked about the FAQ. You know, a lot of these templates come with a preset FAQ, although they don't always call it that. A lot of times it's called help desk right here. Now you could rename that to FAQ if you wanted, but help desk is where you go, because if I click on help desk on this website, it takes me to a preset FAQ, which is totally editable. So I could come in here and I could go to the administration section of my site, and I could go to, where is it? Site content under design. Okay, so design and site content. And then within site content, I go here at the top left and I select the help option. Okay, select help. And then here is my current FAQ. I can edit this however I want. If I want to edit a question, I can come in here and click on it. I can delete questions. I can add questions. All of that's done here. Now, if you want more information on that, the Volusion section of our site, there is training on it. It's number 27 right here. Volusion number 27, editing the help/FAQ page. So take a look at that. Good question. All right, so this is from Robert. Robert says, when loading images into the product, sometimes I try to rearrange the order. I have changed the position to show one of the later, or in other words, change the first one to the last one to the first one, or whatever, and the order doesn't change. Well, it will. You know, sometimes with these browsers, there's the occasional thing that you do on Volusion that won't show an immediate change. But if you really actually go in here and go to products, this is what Robert's referring to. So you've got a product right here. It's got its main picture. Let's add a secondary picture to it right here, just so we've got an example. We'll say this is our secondary picture of the product. Okay, John or Robert's saying he's moving this over like that, right? And then that's supposed to wow, something weird just happened. Hold on, let me reload this page. Whoa, hold on, let's try this again. I like deleted out my original picture for some reason. Okay, one more time. Oh, it's because it's a PNG. Can't use a PNG. PNGs aren't allowed for the most part. Unless they change that. No, I guess you can use a PNG now. That's weird. Before you couldn't. Anyway, it's where you grab this image, I'm dragging and dropping, and I'm putting it in front. You know, sometimes you make changes on Volusion like that, but later on, after you've done it, clear your cache on your browser, like your cookies and your cache on your browser, and then that change will actually display if it's been done right. That happens to me all the time. And you didn't do anything wrong. It just takes it a bit to recalibrate with your browser. Okay. Yes, Peter. So you say, so while you're working on your terms and conditions, customers can see that. Yeah, like anything on your site, a customer can see, right? That's why you try to get your site all ready to go before you launch it, or at least good enough. And then while it's launched, if you need to make changes, you can make changes on it, but those changes are made live. Now, I believe there's a setting that can alter that a little if you're uncomfortable with that scenario. I believe it's settings and maintenance. You can make it to where where is it? Settings and maintenance. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. I'll have to look for it. But there's a way that you can basically make it to where maybe it's this one. Sorry, while I look for a sec. Yeah, anyway. There's a way you can make it to where there's a publish option where whenever you make a change, you have to publish it before it'll actually show up live. But most of you guys don't have that default setting on. All right, anyway, we'll move past that for now. Maria says, is it okay if I remove the categories and products that were originally set up? Sure, absolutely. It's really messy now, so I was thinking it might be easier to start from scratch. Also, I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but do we have the ability to change the fonts and create a menu to the left side? A menu to the left side, you don't, unless you change the overall design of the entire site, which I wouldn't do. So don't put a menu on the left side. A menu running across the top is just fine, as long as you have submenus. I mean, if it gets really confusing or involved, you can put submenus that run across the top, but not a menu on the side. And those generally aren't very good on Volusion sites. They worked on some of the older models, but they don't on some of the newer dynamic models, 2.0 templates. So no, you'll want to keep your navigation menu on the top, which is fine because that's where a lot of sites keep it. But sure, start from scratch if you want to switch up the products or delete out some of the originals. Sure, Jeff, you could use it for a personal website, Volusion. But it depends on what it's for. Jeff, what type of site are you wanting to do? Because if it's not a site where you want to sell something, use WordPress. It's cheaper and easier. But if you're trying to sell something, you want to use Volusion. Oh, great question, Greg. Greg says, I've come across several wholesale suppliers that claim to have software compatible with Volusion for adding products. Is it true and wise to use such software? It is true. There's some compatibility there where you can gain access to an inventory list and automatically load products in. There are some softwares that do that. Is it wise? It's really not. I never use those softwares at all. A lot of suppliers will try to charge you for them. B, they're a little clunky, so the connection into Volusion sometimes isn't solid, and so you get some weird stuff that comes up in your products. And C, it's always like you don't want to just load up your supplier's entire inventory or even a big portion of it because it's all copied content anyway, and you've got to go back and change it all anyway, so you might as well load them up manually. I just think it's far better. So I'm not swayed by that at all. Phyllis, you say if there's a category on my page and I don't want it, how do I delete it? Really quite easily. You go to inventory and then categories. And right here where the categories are listed, you just slide over to the right-hand side and select delete like that. If it's not a category that's in your nav menu, you go to view list and you'll see a big list of your categories here, in which case you can delete them by clicking on whichever ones you want deleted. Right here at the far right-hand side, hit save, and that will get rid of them. Yeah, so Peter, your site. I mean, unless you've connected it to your domain name, if you go to www.yourdomainname.com and it doesn't come up, then you're fine. If it does come up, there's a possibility. I mean, it is live, but that doesn't mean anybody's going to find it. It's not the situation where you put a website online and people just automatically start finding it. You don't accidentally have that happen, especially on a new website. It takes time. So yeah, it's probably live, but nobody's going to find it, not until you start doing some advertising. Yeah, Jeff, for sure. WordPress is going to be your option if you're not selling, because you can have a website on WordPress for like a couple of bucks a month with really nice modern templates. There's a little learning curve there, but Volusion's $40 a month, and that's way more expensive if you're only doing like your own informational site. Volusion's very reasonable if you're doing an e-commerce site. Yeah, sure, Elaine. Elaine asks, can I take products off of the website and put them on eBay? Sure, but check with your supplier. Some suppliers don't allow for their products to be sold on eBay. Some of them just prefer that you sell them on a website. So check with your supplier first. Good question. When Volusion does regular maintenance, is there a message that pops up to the customer? There's not. Their downtime is so few and far between, so customers aren't alerted to it, and they usually do it in the middle of the night. So what little downtime there is while they're doing maintenance, there'll be a message for customers if someone got there during that time. It's just very unlikely. Good question. Okay, well, good questions today, guys. I don't mind doing these little FAQ sessions here and there just to answer some general questions. We may do this again with Volusion, but I thought today would be a good day to do that. If you have any more questions, please contact your coach, and we'll continue to help you out. And then we'll be back next week to give you a little more help with Volusion next time. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay, guys. Well, good luck working on your Volusion sites this week, and we will see you all next time. Thanks again.